A man struck by a car after his own vehicle rolled off Old Highway 91. Lots of rain coming to St. George and some big basketball games to watch over the week.
You're watching St. George News at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Christy Langenheim. On Wednesday, a Washington County man was seen walking on the highway after rolling his SUV off Old Highway 91 and was later found dead. Shortly after 10:30 p.m., dispatch began receiving multiple calls reporting that a Toyota 4Runner rolled at least 5 times near mile marker 2. Other calls reported that a disorderly male, who was possibly the driver, was walking down the highway asking for a ride to Las Vegas. Emergency responders were then dispatched to the scene, but while en route, the man reportedly was struck by an oncoming vehicle and later pronounced dead at the scene. The investigation is ongoing and no charges have been filed as of now. St. George residents should anticipate significant rainfall in the upcoming week. St. George News reporter Chris Reed provides insights into the upcoming weather conditions.
If you see someone building an ark, they might have just been looking at the weather forecast for the next week or so. There is nearly a 100% chance of rain in southern Utah, with snow in the higher elevations starting Thursday. After that, rain is expected nearly each day through Super Bowl Sunday, with a short break or two. According to Nicole DeSmet with the National Weather Service's Salt Lake City office, it's all about rare atmospheric river of moisture coming from the direction of Hawaii that normally heads to the Pacific Northwest, but this time is aiming for the southwestern U.S. and southern Utah.
Despite the heavy amounts of rain coming this week, the West is still in a drought. Here's Maury Kessler on a new bill that will help keep hydropower rates low during a dry spell.
The first bill, sponsored by Utah's newest congressional delegate, aims to keep energy rates connected to hydroelectric power generation low in times of drought. Called the Hydropower Delivery Rate Reduction Offset Act, or Hydro Act, the bill would prompt the Bureau of Reclamation to reduce power rates at certain power generation facilities across the West should they fail to produce a contracted amount of power due to low water levels caused by ongoing drought. Hydropower generation across the West has roughly dropped by 1/3, with some power utilities turning to the pricey wholesale market, which Malloy has called limited and volatile. Malloy said her bill aims to avoid having power utilities buying from the wholesale market, as the high cost of power there will ultimately be passed on to the end users.
Thanks, Maury. And now to Sheldon and Amy to give us a breakdown of what's going on in St. George this weekend.
That's right, so many great events happening this weekend.
You don't want to miss Skyfest. It's happening at Sand Hollow.
Oh, I love the Skyfest. Big hot air balloons up in the sky. Can't get enough of it. Also at the Bumbleberry Inn in Springdale, they got the Maybell series going on.
Lacey's going to be there. Love Lacey.
Oh yeah, it's going to be music and storytelling, and you can't miss it. Some great artists over there. And plus, we got a full list of weekend events, and there's a lot this weekend. Check it out on stgeorgenews.com in the TGIF show page. Now back to you in the studio.
Thanks, guys. Bumpy Soup is celebrating the release of its new indie film. Here's Stephanie DeGraw with more on the film and where to watch it.
A St. George Arts Collective is releasing its third film on February 3rd at 8 p.m. at Blues Cats Rock and Roll Grill. The event also features live music, merch, and a DJ. The film, Flame of the Void, a stoner noir, follows Aqua Supreme as he searches for his beloved lighter.
Thanks, Stephanie. As southern Utah continues to grow, it can cause problems for the local wildlife. Here's Alicia Lundgren on a bill to nudge local governments to consider impacts on wildlife when creating plans and adopting regulations.
Utah House Representative Doug Owens has introduced legislation he says would serve as a reminder to cities and counties to consider wildlife-related issues, including movement and habitat, when creating general plans and adopting land use regulations. While Owens said the bill doesn't require local governments to create plans or take action, he believes most would voluntarily incorporate benefits to wildlife. Cedar City Council member R. Scott Phillips told St. George News his primary concern with the bill is vague wording that could be interpreted in various ways.
Thanks, Alicia. And now let's turn it over to Cannon Seacrest with a look at the upcoming local basketball matchups.
Thanks, Christy. Region 9 girls basketball is going on tonight, and Snow Canyon is headed over to Pineview. The Panthers are trying to hand the Warriors their first loss since late November, and the player to look out for in this one is Olivia Hamlin for the Warriors. She's fresh off a 24-point game against Crimson Cliffs and is averaging just over 26 points per game. Another game going on tonight is Crimson Cliffs at Cedar, and the Mustangs are still in search of their first region win on the year, and with just 4 games in region left, they're running out of time. The Reds, on the other hand, are sitting at 6-2 on the region, just behind first place Snow Canyon, and are on a respectable 3-game win streak. And the last girls' game tonight is Hurricane at Desert Hills. Both the Tigers and the Thunder are 4-4 in region, but the last time these two teams played, the Tigers got the 10-point victory, beating the Thunder 68-58. And if for some reason you're not interested in high school sports, Utah Tech also has a game tonight at 7. The Trailblazers are playing Texas Rio Grande Valley at home, and the women's team is on the road. And then looking ahead to Friday, we've got some more high school basketball. Pineview is headed to the Jungle to face off against Snow Canyon, and the last time these two teams met, the Panthers pulled out a close one over the Warriors. Nash Schroeder and Griffin Shepard both scored in the 20s for the Panthers and closed out the win 61-58. So this is going to be a great rematch this Friday. Also this Friday, Desert Hills is headed to Hurricane, and in their last game, the Thunder came out on top 70-52. The Tigers are still trying to get their first region win, as so far they are 0-8 in region with a 5-14 overall record. And the last game of the week is Cedar at Crimson Cliffs. In the last matchup, the Mustangs dominated the Reds 76-51 up in Cedar. And the Reds are looking for a revenge game. This week is jam-packed with some great basketball games, so make sure to tune into the Fan Sports Network. Now back to you, Christy.
Thank you for watching St. George News at 5. I'm Christy Langenheim with St. George News, your #1 source for local news.
This has been St. George News at 5.